I never deny. Yeah, I told you I would never fold, even in the cold. I never lose my hope, back against the ropes. The sun's flower from the concrete is where I rose. It's just perspective, ain't no location for highs and lows. I can't believe the lie no more, the truth is in my soul. Holy Spirit, hold my pen, I'm writing with a ghost. The war's on, my hands are up, I'm fighting on 10 toes. I ain't come this far, fight this hard to make myself known. And I can't switch sides no more, the focus in the road, yeah. And I'm trying to eat, yeah. My plate garnished with goals. I keep my faith day out and keep subscribing to.
So, wait till a couple of you come in and I will play a new video from Shub. And thank you very much to the person who sent me this. This is what we need more of. Mark Mercer. Hey, Mercer. What's happening? Additionally, I would please ask that this video, I'm going to play 2 videos that you download, please, just so that there's another record of it. Yes, because it hasn't been seen to the best of my knowledge yet. And maybe we can have a little bit of a discussion about it afterward. Okay, we got 8 of you in here. This business about Weber, the Explorer, the tweet line, and the Shub crash, it starts to unravel there. Weber is a very integral piece in this. If you guys, which many of you are, of course, intimately familiar with the warrants. The warrants, in the case of Mr. Weber, we have 1724. That is the entirety of Mr. Weber. Fully redacted. No name ever mentioned. Mr. Weber is a mystery. The Explorer / Tracker is a mystery. We've never seen it outside of the couple of photos. Where did it end up? Who drove it? These are important questions. I do hope, really hope, somebody from the Weber immediate group, friend, something, who knows something, or a witness to the Shub stuff, starts to come forward. This person is a witness, was there, and I'm not going to dox them. There are details that I don't, at this point, I'm not sure whether I can talk about, so I respect people and their privacy, but I can show the video, and so we can look at that. So we've got 13 people in here. Aikichi, Loretta, how's it going? All right, so we've got 13 people. Balls, I wish we had a couple more, but you never know. 15 now. Kelly, what's happening? Oh yes, press corps reporting always on this thing. I don't know how much of their stuff is valid versus isn't. I read it, but I don't put a lot of stock into it. You know what I place a lot more stock in? You guys and me. So seems to be working out okay. Now, let's see here. So this is shot from shortly after I'll show it from 2 angles. I'm going to show the very crisp version. I'll show that after the new video. The very, very crisp version of as in it was the actual footage taken that day, not sent around and many people just forwarding it or doing whatever. This was the actual, from that phone camera, the footage of the just shot a real police officer footage. But the first footage I'm going to show is the new footage. I want you to look at it. I want you to think about it. I want you to listen carefully. There's something that's said in it too that's rather important. Got 17. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to play anymore. There's nothing of any importance beyond that. But did you hear the line in there? Did you hear the line in there where they said, "Where is the other police officer? Where did the other..." According to this person who relayed this information to me, the lines, "Where did the other cop go?" and "Where is the other police officer?" were being uttered during this. And they were screaming at the ERT team, at the witnesses. So of course you can see we have, some people on scene watching this go on. This is slightly after the time to do with they just shot a real police officer, because you can see the body is now no longer, and you can actually look and you can see them behind the ERT vehicle, and with who is apparently Heidi Stevenson. Let's see, much more can I say? I don't want to say too much just in case, but I think I'm okay to say that. Now, the person who made this video was not there when some information I'm going to relay to you now, but has it on good authority that Heidi Stevenson was pulled out of her car and executed by the person who drove away then in the Explorer. So why are they referring to the police officer? Are they referring to Morrison, or are they referring to Wardman? We have no push bar on the car that we have seen at all. There's no evidence to say that there's a push bar. The accident, which is now being reviewed by somebody, whether that be RCMP or CERT, 2.5 months later, and I think this is indicative of most of the other crime scenes, the RCMP didn't investigate them. To the best of it doesn't appear to be, because crime scenes take a long time to clean up. generally. Like to process, you have to do the fingerprinting, you have to do, all kinds of marking of evidence. You have to have the CSI team come in. It takes, usually for a murder, several days to do. And of course, the RCMP are dealing with several crime scenes. And yet, in Wentworth, we have them bulldoze or a backhoe in there, totally destroying the house, the crime scene, as the house is still burning. We have the Mr. Moneypenny I believe it was Mr. Moneypenny put out pictures today of like it's completely leveled, Wortman's property. There's nothing left even anymore. But before, they had made an application to Colchester County, they being the RCMP, had made an application to Colchester County to destroy everything. Bulldoze was the word I believe was used. Bulldoze everything. Now, that doesn't sound like a crime scene to me. We also have the photos of Gina Goulet's house, which were taken 30 hours after Gina Goulet's death. So, and there was nothing there. There was no crime scene tape. There was no vehicles, as in no Explorer, no cop car. There was a cop car there, but there was the cop car that was there. One cop car had no push bar on it, but there was nothing else. No, it was like nobody was even there. And then, of course, we had the Shuby stuff here, which was cleaned up pretty fast. There was a lot of interesting things to do with going through the grass, through the carpet, or like, with a comb. They were basically going through the grass down in across from the gazebo, just below the exit here, over the safety guardrail, right? I mean, I think it's my background image actually on this. Oh no, it's not. That's one of them. Anyway, so they were going through there with like a fine tooth comb. What exactly they were looking for, I'm not exactly sure. Heidi Stevenson was dead at this point. They didn't even check vitals. They just apparently dragged her away. And then everybody plowed into the vehicle and drove away. And down the supposed direction where Mr. Wortman or the assailant or whomever went, which was south on the 224 at a fairly rapid speed. And the person who was behind them, they were gone, like fast. So my question brings me back to several things. So I'm sorry if this is distracting. I will play the video again. How the tracker, I've spoken about that a lot, the quote tracker, let's just call it that, right? The tracker. Hey, Critical. Why is it that the RCMP at 11:06 are tweeting, I believe it, that he is in Brookfield in the silver tracker? At 11:24, they're tweeting that he is in Milford, confirmed in the silver tracker. 2 minutes later, he is dead in Enfield, according to the RCMP. These places are 17 minutes apart. He is in a different vehicle. He would have been in the gray Mazda at this point in time on the second tweet. And in the first tweet, he would have been in possibly the Explorer, but more likely the gray Mazda, but no tracker. And he definitely was not in Brookfield. So it doesn't add up. They've never, ever addressed that timeline. And then, of course, you have Weber, who is an utter mystery. 1724. You don't even have mention of his name. This is in addition to the fact that this warrant does not indicate that Mr. Wortman shot Stevenson or Morrison. It just says 1723. Constable Stevenson was located deceased. That's it. How did she die? Who killed her? Who drove the car? Let's listen to this again. Listen to, because you can hear him, one of the officers yelling. Where did the other officer go? You're here till you get timed out. Hopefully nobody does that. Anybody who is censoring somebody, I'm really gonna. Anybody who does that, you'll lose your wrench. I don't care who it is. It's just absolute no. We don't do that. I think I know what you're referring to, Todd, but that was all resolved, right? It was apparently an accident. But anyway, let's listen to it again. Okay, did you just hear it? Where did the other police officer go? So who are they referring to? Police officer. Where did the other police officer go? Where did the other cop go? Okay. Now, we have the other version, which is cleaner copy. Let me just make sure I'm not showing anything else here. Where's that? Here. Okay. So this is the actual real tape taken. So you can see the details in this are a lot finer, a lot crisper. You can see it's not fuzzy and messy. You know, it's like a badly dubbed tape.
Oh, baby, we're right on the scene.
This is fucked. This is so fucked.
He's in that car.
He's in that car. They're dragging him out. Look, they're dragging somebody. Oh my god. That's a
real cop, huh?
So you can totally see the feet. And this was definitely, apparently, Stevenson because of the yellow stripe on the pants.
Oh my fuck. This is fucking crazy.
Is he in there?
I'm like shaking. We should move. Like, what if he's alive and he like shoots Trev?
Now, the other video that we have takes place almost right after this from a different angle, right? Because we see the body. It's already behind the if you look carefully, you can see that the body there's a member of the SRT team here, and you can see the rough outline of the body. So this is just shortly thereafter the video that we just watched, and the body's there, and now we go forward. So then there come up the members that went down in the ditch. You remember? In the other video. So it's taking place, they are overlapping. There comes the second member. Okay, so the other video is over by this point. Okay. So, now to Mercer's question. Nobody has ever figured out who the person that was running away was. No. Let's see if we can see. It's the other version is crisper, so you can see a little bit more detail. I believe you see one of the ERT members, and he's ducking down behind the car as the other person, shall we say, runs in the background. But I don't know if they're ducking for that reason. I'm not sure. And we don't hear any shooting, so. But and you don't hear anything in the cop. It just shot a real police officer. You don't hear the sirens, which is interesting because you should. So maybe the music drowns out everything. So I'm not sure if they're actually hearing gunshots or anything at that point. But just something to file away for that. Now let's see. We'll go back to this one.
Oh, baby, we're right on the scene.
This is fucked. This is so fucked.
He's in that car.
He's in that car.
Okay,
They're dragging, look, they're dragging somebody. Oh my god. That's a
real call.
Now we're going to see the person run in the background.
Oh
my god. Oh god.
There.
Oh my god.
Now, I think I can see that they're wearing a helmet. Yes, I think they are. Something's reflecting. It appears the person's wearing something on their head. Yep. So I think that's possibly another ERT member or an officer. What do you guys think? Yes, they were not happy. As to the videos getting posted, I'm not sure, well, actually at this point in time, if I'm maybe, shall I say, approved to do that. Of course, you guys can download this and then there's a copy, but just because I think there's metadata maybe embedded on it. So was Heidi Stevenson driving a marked car or an unmarked SUV? For some reason, it is said earlier that she was driving an unmarked SUV. I think that's confusion with the other, so we can show those pictures, right? Let's go to that. So this takes place shortly before. You're talking about a very small time frame here, very small. So here we have, you can see that there is a body lying here, presumably Heidi Stevenson. And if we're believing the RCMP's narrative, that's would fit, right? Because the other car is heavily damaged on the front end, and we have the silver Explorer with the door open. We don't have our supposed assailant. And then what's going to happen here is apparently the assailant is going to get into this vehicle and drive away. There's also going to be some rummaging around in the trunk of one of the cars. That would be the supposed Wortman vehicle, the heavily damaged vehicle, and gas poured in it. This is according to another witness. And the car was set ablaze. Now, I've heard it from two different people. They seem to be fairly reliable people, that the body of Mr. Weber was placed into the back of a car, and that car was set ablaze. Now, and that DNA was required. I take a little issue with that, because why is the assailant bothering to put the person that they shot into the car when they're not going to put Stevenson into the car? What would make them drag somebody all this distance to then put them into a car? You know, they're having to spend additional time around here. There's obviously people now witnessing things, because I have the prior photo. Let's see here. Just give me one moment, please. Oh, sorry. This is shortly thereafter. Again, another Stevenson's body is now gone, and as is the Explorer. And here we have the body literally, I believe, being dragged. You can actually see it literally being dragged. So these are all taking place all within the same time frame. What would be interesting to note or find out is what the person who took the Explorer photo saw. But give me a moment, please. I'll see if okay. Let's see here. Okay, so one of the witnesses said they saw from a different perspective the trunk being opened and gas, somebody handling gas. They heard gunshots prior to that, and then they I don't know how to put that because I don't want to say anything. They were away from the scene. Let's just say for a second. Let's just say they turned their back for a moment. And when they turned back around, they saw the Ford Escape Explorer driving away. So there's lots of questions that arise with this. I've had questions about Mr. Weber, why it is that the RCMP are saying at 11:06 he is in this silver vehicle when in Brookfield, which he couldn't possibly be. Why 18 minutes later, when he's about to die, they say he's in Milford, and it's confirmed that he's driving this vehicle and in an RCMP uniform, when the story they tell us he's actually 1 minute, this is 1 minute after the photograph that they show us, the surveillance photo, right? From the across from the Enfield truck stop, and he is now in a gray Mazda in civilian clothing. The gray Mazda, which pulls up to the pumps, and we have differing accounts, but some CBC says that the RCMP are already there filling up, and he pulls up beside them, which clearly doesn't really make sense. Whereas a witness says, no, what happened was he was at the pumps in the car, and the ERT vehicle, one tactical unit, pulled up beside it. A member jumped out, leaned over the hood of the actual car, and shot him through the windshield whilst he was in the car. Now you have to think about the placement of the driver in respect to the driver of the other vehicle, which would be the closest, because the driver's side of the ERT vehicle on the pump is located right beside the pump. However, the driver's side of the Mazda is located on the far side of the vehicle, right? You understand what I'm saying? So you have a passenger seat in between. The line of sight doesn't match up. You wouldn't be able to see who's in a vehicle down below you. You'd be able to look down into the passenger seat, but you wouldn't be able to see over into the driver's seat. And yet they pull up unannounced, jump out, and shoot him. Now, how did they know he was in this vehicle? They couldn't possibly know that, because that vehicle had just been taken from Gina Goulet's place, but he had driven the Silver Explorer wearing the cop uniform, apparently, to Gina Goulet's house, parked it in behind, as they say, and then murdered her, shot her dogs, found the keys, taken her car, and left. They're still looking for, by what they tell us according to the tweet line, a silver tracker in Milford, which is located 17 minutes away. Is it 17 minutes away? From Enfield. Yet he's driving a gray Mazda in, at this point, he may be driving the gray Mazda, wearing civilian clothing. do you not see that there's a problem with this? And then we have no mention. This is why I linked at those videos called, the Silver Tracker and stuff. We have no mention of Mr. Weber at all. Just that we have Gabriel Wortman took a gray tracker, which clearly wasn't the vehicle, and this is a sworn document in front of a justice by an RCMP agent or RCMP officer attesting to the details, the facts of the case as best that they know them by that point. Now, would they not know what kind of vehicle was located in the back of Gina Goulet's house? By this point, this warrant is sworn out. I believe they already have the crime scene fully completed and cleaned up. Yet they say here, gray tracker. Lots of problems with this story. And he changed his clothes, yes, because he was wearing the civilian clothes. So let's see, I'm going to go back through here some of your comments to see what wonderful things you guys are coming up with. Yeah, the crisper video, it appears to be a man with a helmet on. Let's look at that again, just to make sure. You guys can tell me if my eyes aren't that great anymore anyway. Right, this one. Okay. All right. So watch for man in the background, which is going to happen. I'll let it play through because I think still on the still. Okay, there he is right there. And it looks as though something's on his head to me. It does look like an ERT member. I don't know why they're running, but let's watch it.
Oh my god. Oh god. Oh my fuck.
Yes.
This...
I'm fairly certain that looks like somebody with a helmet on. Mercer thinks it's a SWAT guy too. Looks like black tack pants running in background, which matches video of apparent Wortman, when he puts on the vest. This person appears to be wearing a helmet, I think. Nobody is believing RCMP narrative. So could he steal the vehicle and not have them know which type of vehicle they were looking for? Yes, this is the only way that they would know that. Again, it's very short time frame. Very short. Would be that they asked somebody on the scene. Now, I haven't heard anything about that. What I heard was they must have gotten a phone call. That was the way it was phrased to me. They must have gotten a phone call or something because they suddenly jumped into the ERT vehicle and took off south on 224. What were they looking for? We had a helicopter in the area, but it was later. This would be interesting to place up in comparison to, which I haven't listened to. Thank you to, well, I won't identify them, person on the Discord for dropping the half-hour segments of the emergency fire broadcast, which I haven't listened to them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because I hear there, and I've listened to some, but there's a lot of dead air. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all the dead air out so that we just have segments, and I'll put the time in for each of them so that maybe we can get something out of that. What kind of helicopter was in the area, when it was in the area, because there was a helicopter in the area, but it sounded like it was later. Please respond to the, okay. GW would shoot, loot, take Heidi's gun and mags, then drive away as fast as possible. He wouldn't waste, yes, see, I agree. This does not make sense. Weber, so this then goes to, where is Weber? Weber's not on the pavement. Where's his body? And the only reference ever in the media to Weber is from the former or current councilman in Halifax who's a neighbor. Again, I'm not trying to dox anybody or anything or get anybody in trouble or, I don't want them getting bombarded or upset. I'm not trying to trigger people and bring back bad memories. I'm trying to just simply get the truth because we're not getting it. And that person that was the only person referred to ever, to my recollection, unless somebody knows something different, to speaking publicly about Joey Weber. And what they said was Joey Weber was doing this fuel run, and he wanted to do it before the crazy guy, even though the crazy guy was kind of in the area, they wanted to get the fuel before that, and then and it was out of their way, far out of their way, that they had to go to get this fuel. And then that's it. And then Weber did not get identified, and I think he was the last listed, if I'm right. Maybe you guys can correct me. Did Weber get shot by the other officer while trying to pull Stevenson out of her car? Did Weber... Oh... Did Weber get shot by the other officer? Now, this gets into some of this, which I want to try and stay away from, as much as possible, right? I want to try and find the most reasonable explanation. So we have no body for Weber. We have a late identification for Weber. We have a misidentification of vehicle in the warrant, which is days. This one is, I believe, sworn out the next day by the time that already Gina Goulet's house is cleaned up, so they should know exactly what kind of vehicle they're talking about. We have the tweet problems, which are 11:06 in Brookfield, 11:24 in Milford, confirmed, which are never and never have been addressed by the RCMP in any way, shape, or form, which is apparently the most up-to-date data that they were saying that they were using. So how did they know about this silver tractor? Why is he driving around for 18 minutes in the silver tractor in two different locations where he never was with the silver tractor, when he was only in the silver tractor for 1.8 kilometers, which is approximately 76-second drive, according to those of you who have driven it. By not having a body and an ID on the victim, they wouldn't know which type of vehicle he jacked, a tactical move. Yes, but it would cost time. And clearly, he didn't have a lot of time. Whoever it was, I'm using the open-ended assailant here because, frankly, I don't think it was Mr. Workman. If we're believing that he's driving the police car, because there's no push bar, which we've gone over at length. There is a highway right near the burning cruiser, so the running person could just be someone who stopped. Could be, yeah, absolutely. Oh, the other thing is and this one is a bit you have to conceptualize, but is the damage on the vehicle and the vehicle's direction of travel. The only damage that could possibly have occurred, because we have a lot of front end damage on Mr. Wortman's car with a push bar, right? The only damage that could be possible from any of the photos or anything that we've seen, because there isn't any on the front, there isn't any on the rear, and there isn't any on the driver's side, must be on the passenger side. Now, the RCMP have said this car was traveling in the correct flow of traffic. The correct flow of traffic, there are now I would like to talk to Mr. Moneypenny about this, because I tried to get in contact with him, but the tire tracks on the ground, the tire skid marks on the ground on Highway 224 North, just preceding this exit, because I'm still trying to figure out where in the hell Stevenson was and where this other car was. Was it coming up the ramp? If so, if it's the other assailant car is coming up the ramp, how is Stevenson's car getting rammed and it's coming to rest softly? It doesn't damage the barrier at all. And we have the other car completely spun out with totaled front end. Maybe you guys can let me know. Todd, I feel the same thing. I'm wondering whether ran in to help and got killed too while Wortman was given time to flee. That is the supposed statement by the RCMP, that Mr. Weber stopped to help and was killed. But where's his body? And if you're getting chased by the RCMP and stuff, why is it that you would take a body out and then remove it when you didn't do anything with Stevenson and throw it in the back of a car? That's going to take time. Then light it up. Heidi had radio contact with a rough location. Can't see wasting time at the scene. After the crime, knowing cavalry was en route. Yeah. Hey Wade, how's it going? Okay, we do have Mr. Moneypenny in here. Excellent. Maybe he can help us with that. That's not the narrative logic, rational math inside. Well, I kind of operate in the latter ones of those, Loomis. So, but I don't think they expect people to play in that field too much. Change clothes at Gina's. Windshield bullet hole is too far on the passenger side to be shot from the car hood. If the officer used the car hood as a gun rest. Okay, well, maybe should we go back and listen to his statement, Mr. Yellow Jacket, who is identified? And frankly, I find it highly disturbing that interview, as well as the Red Jacket Shuby interview, which were both done by CTV, were never aired, ever, to the best of my knowledge. I scrapped that from some India, I think it was out of India or some nonsense. Somebody who scraped it. It's almost like they had a script, then improvised. Nothing makes sense. The only reason they would have shot if they felt threatened. Otherwise, they would have just apprehended him. Yes, I agree. And you see, they asked Halifax, do not come north of the airport. The airport, I believe, is just south of Enfield. And Enfield, however, is in Halifax Regional District. So that is actually Halifax Police Department's area. Yet the RCMP told Halifax, don't come here. And then they shot him. And so let's listen to the interview again. And sorry, I know I'm behind on comments. I will catch up to them as soon as possible. Big stop. Oh, actually, I know where I got. Is it?
I've just happened to.
Okay.
I've just happened to drive by the Irving, and I seen this SWAT team come in and park beside the pumps. And the fellow got out of the passenger side, and he just ran out in front of the car and out with his gun and just opened up right through the windshield of the car. All I could hear was gunshots.
That big stop is always full of seniors in the morning for breakfast. Like that place is full every day. So being a Sunday, that he could have done a lot of damage. So
Now, I've heard actually that's quite different, but let's not even go there right now. There wasn't a lot of people there due to the COVID stuff. It was actually quite sparse with people. Shooting an empty car for show. It's the start of a photo op. Oh. Okay. I have a feeling that I'm going to walk away from this. My mind will be churning for some time. But I'm glad that you guys are bouncing ideas because they help me think. How did he get his clothes with signage and proper labeling on all the uniforms? Because they're absolutely real uniforms. Yeah, they're not. We're not talking about fake uniforms or anything. I think we're all settled on that one, right? Uniforms, multiple Halifax and both Halifax and RCMP. There are no pics of anyone dead in the car. This is true. That's true. Yep. So who's on the ground? I was going with that. Whoever that was, but whether it be Mr. Wortman, if it is Mr. Wortman that he was asking to kind of get taken out of the situation or whatever by his friends, and then he was assassinated. So are you saying that there is a planted body or a dummy or something? I guess it would have to be one of those two, right? If a witness said he heard 4 shots, what happened to the rest of the bullet holes? There's a car parked behind the burning cars, and a guy in front of the new video camera B lines for it. There's a car. Yeah, okay. So this is the infamous red car, right? Which said it went down further the ramp, but I don't think it did. I think it kind of stayed fairly close to the accident location. It was referred to, I believe, as a woman. The little paras on the hardwood. Oh yes, that's my little furry friend. No push bar on either cruiser. Was Wortman even there? I don't think so. I don't think we're talking about Wortman. I think we're talking about Morrison. So if another vehicle didn't come along, what was his plan of escape? I think he was hoping that his friends would help him out. I think he's a cop. I know this is, but there seems to be indications of that. The police let him go all this time. He had the weapons. Nobody touched him. You know, he get off with the slap on the wrist. He threatened the dad. I mean, the uncles are RCMP officers, and yet he's not even getting in trouble for threatening their brother. Something's very fishy about that. And the one brother did have a Facebook profile, and I did see it, and it disappeared. He never referred to anything to do with what happened in Nova Scotia. You know, of course, everybody else has got their profile pictures and RCMP and ribbons and we stand together and stuff. Not one reference to it. And then his profile gone. Probably to carjack somebody. Joey Weber, the pulp mill worker, back to work again that day. Yeah, he got his job back, didn't he? Specialized unit. Oh, oops, I'm losing stuff here. Important guy. This guy, Weber is, I think Weber is the one that this is concerning to them. Look at how much it concerns them. And look at the timeline, the Twitter line. Weber is a real issue. Weber's vehicle is an issue. Weber is an issue. Nothing's being said about him. Nothing gets said about him in the warrant. They even refer to his vehicle as the wrong type of vehicle. Something's very awry. I mean, I drew up. I was trying to explain it to my girlfriend, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. You know, like I'm like, because I've been trying to say it. I don't know if drawing it out helped, but I mean, he's all over the place in different vehicles at different times or at the same time. I spent hours daily digging, and Clint Ellison was a social worker. Heidi Stevenson was a school liaison officer. Okay, don't get too wound up. And remember, Ozzy, there's smurfing people right now. Good point, Todd. The door was open on the silver SUV. Yes. So, but where is the assailant in that picture? There's no assailant. You know, we discussed that when we first got the photo, right? That where is where is an assailant in this picture? We can see Heidi Stevenson's body. We don't see a body for Weber, number one, and we don't see a body for the assailant. Where's Weber's body? Where's the assailant? We see a car in the background, funnily enough. See, there's lots of witnesses. I really, really implore whoever was there, speak up. There is major shenanigans going on here. I think innocent people may have been murdered by the RCMP, and we need to address that, whether it's their own members or members of the public, being Weber. On the tapes, there is another problem. The first GSW report was at 10:44. It took 18 minutes for victim to get to the RCMP. Okay, hold on one moment here. Is this the shot in the foot? I haven't had a chance to. If actually, you know what? Just for my benefit, if you guys don't mind, because I haven't watched O'Deer's latest video, and they do very good work. I think along the same lines as they do, so I would like to watch what they have. Oh, my apologies. Channel, here we go. 20 subscribers. Going up. All right, 2 views. Well, I got dinged because I have the notification on. Let's watch it together. Oh, balls. Sorry.
Schenectady area, so we have to assume this is him in the back of ambulance 122.
122, rig your tablet there, and a vehicle just drove by with their signs on. No one's outside. No one's outside? Correct. 10-4. Vehicle out there. Copy that. Have a look at your tablet. See the car number is the same. Ford matches. Okay, copy that. He's the member there. He's still shot in the foot. 122. Go ahead, 122. Member is currently with us in the base.
Okay, just one moment here. Now, they say refer to the tablet, and that is his vehicle. They were looking for Morrison's vehicle?
Ford matches. Okay, look at your tablet. See the car number is the same. Ford matches. Okay, copy that. He's the member there. He's still shot in the foot. 122. Go ahead, 122.
He's been shot in the foot, but they're looking for the car number. Why would they be looking for the car number? Wouldn't he be there? Why do they have to verify the car number? If he's been shot in the foot, why are they verifying a car number?
Member is currently with us in the base. 10-4, thank you. I'm currently treating a member in the back of an ambulance.
This is still 122?
Thank you. Go ahead, 122.
Here we're back to
Can you be on tap for a second? Sure thing. We were just about to transport the officer, but his vehicle is currently here unlocked, and he has left a gun in the woods. I'm curious if you can get a hold of anyone to come manage that. 122, stand by, please.
Is that the
Two.
base?
Go ahead, 122. Clear code 1 to Colchester, patient on board. Copy code 1 to Colchester, patient on board.
So why are his arms bandaged up if he was shot in the foot? Also, why was his gun in the woods?
Also, why does he have scrapes on his forehead? Why are they looking for the car number if he's there? That doesn't make sense. Thank you for the great video again, oh dear. I'm going to try and clip that emergency broadcast, that series of videos that they put up over on the Discord, so that we can just cut it down to something manageable rather than 12 hours, 13 hours. Well, that's what they maintain, Todd, that he was burned in the cruiser, but we don't see any evidence of that, a body being moved. We don't see any evidence of a body being moved here. We don't see any evidence of the assailant. We don't see evidence of the door is open. So where's Weber, number one, if this is Weber? Where is Weber and where is the assailant? One bullet hole in the windshield. So did the officer put 4 rounds in the driver's side door window? Ergo, car was empty. Okay, I want to jump in between Enfield and Shuby, but one hole matches. The rest went through the passenger side window. Sorry about not playing the sound. Oh dear. Missed out on your computerized voice. The Wortman shooting witness said he was driving by the Irving, not in it, but he saw it all. That is the other witness. That's the truck driver. Yellow Jacket Man says he was there. The second video at the very start is being filmed by a woman. Yes. Yes, I don't want to dox that person, please. Just let's not get into that, please. Just stay with the contents of the video. Please just stay with the contents of the video, not on who's making it. I would really appreciate that. I'm asking you that you respect that, please. Okay? Let's not even go there. Even Griffin did Nova Scotia strong post on his Facebook. Corey was not a social worker. Corey worked for, I think, a marijuana store. I think, or had some kind of association with a particular marijuana store. He wears all their clothing. Other cop, any chance there were 2 cops in one car? Ooh. Oh, that would be. Howdy, Kathy. Was on the 18th. The cars do have. You'd figure they'd all have GPS. Well, they do because they got warrants for them. I'm assuming they have access to GPS. They can request that, but at the time, but who knows? GW shot in the foot, EMSW. Hoy. Wow, okay. Lots of interesting things coming out here. 2 people in a car. Was GW the person shot in the foot? No assailant because setting up for photos. I mean, the photo does strike me as odd. Or sorry, this scene does strike me as odd, given the amount of damage to one vehicle, and yet The other vehicle is resting almost against the guardrail, but there's no damage to it. I don't want to start going into the super, this zone, but these are interesting things to note. Why is it that way? I mean, you can probably do the physics, the accident reconstruction, looking at it carefully, but shot in the foot, gun in the woods, yes. I did get messaged about that, about the woods. Now they said it's possible. It's possible they were referring to the woods that are either in the background of this picture or prior to the bridge on the other side. There's some woods on the, I guess that would be the west side of Highway 2 at that point, right? Let's see here. Where were we here? Helping someone escape in the helicopter. I actually did mention that to my girlfriend. I did say, is that why they're landing in the farmer's field? I mean, why did they land in a farmer's field? He had 2.5 hours worth of gas, right? He said, I believe, the helicopter pilot. Yet they landed in a field for a moment. Why did you land in a field? If all of this shit is going down, why are you landing in a field? Does anybody have an answer to that one? Problem is with the 18th. Okay. I wish. Is there some way that, like, I can get in contact with you to have a conversation with either yourself, oh dear, or with Moneypenny, or with Moneypenny, because you guys have lots of stuff, but bouncing ideas and text is just, it's not always the best. My brain thinks at a different rate. Are those burns on his arms? They appear to be burns. They do on the upper portion here. It appears to be a burn here, but he's got a cast, so something has gone terribly awry with one arm. Who burned in the cruiser? We don't know if anybody burned in the cruiser. We don't know that. Getting shot in the foot plus leaving gun in the woods. Car screams rookie. Given the confirmed car number, the car number they needed to know and was worried about Wardman. So he's in the woods with the gun? And the car's just sitting there unlocked at the side of the road? Okay, now we're back to Shub. Trunk is open on the front end damaged car. Could be Weber was dumped or slumped in the trunk. I heard the back seat from 2 independent people apparently in contact with the family, but again, it's not from them. And so it could just be, and it's not somebody who is unrelated or, just some Facebook guy. No. But they don't know. That's what they were told. That's all that I know. That's what they were told. So I believe that's what the RCMP told them. Did it happen? That's the question. Howdy, Craig. Does look like the trunk is open. Now the trunk, what I was being told was gas. There was some kind of gas or something being poured into the trunk by the one witness. They had to do something else, and they turned back around and they saw the Explorer driving away. So did not witness what had happened. What did happen with Weber? Was there a Weber? Did Weber get put in a vehicle? Who did it? Nothing like that. Does look like the trunk is open. Let's see. I can't really tell from this angle, but when the video is going, you can tell that from the old baby video. I don't know what you call that one. Does look like the trunk. You don't see anyone other than body. Yeah. That's messed up. Where is... You got Stevenson here. You got a crash scene that has no damage on the guardrail. One car that's totaled on the front end. We have no idea what happened to the other one. The rear door of Wortman's vehicle is open, supposed Wortman's vehicle. And we have the Explorer door open. You see, whoever took this photo would have seen what happened. They would have got a bird's eye view. Hopefully, going to come forward. This is all we can keep praying for. More people. 100% they have GPS. I bet you fine. Can you see a push bar on either car? I can't. I have yet to see one. There isn't. No. Are we all agreed on that one? I think that was the consensus. Every photo that's been looked at so far, there has been no evidence that there was a push bar. We've seen the front end of the damaged vehicle, right? It doesn't have any push bar, clearly. And the supposed Stevenson vehicle, you can't really tell from the camera angles because of the barrier, but you'd probably be able to see a little bit of black, and you don't, because it comes over top of the hood. Public info. Wish we could make out the car driving away down the ramp. In this photo, we have the red car. There's like a bunch of people here. And even the person who did the video, I was told there was many people there. So I'm not quite getting to scoop someone up without the witnesses. Maybe Wortman got in the helicopter in the field, $475,000. Okay. Laughing. Put out another video about the 18th. You did? You did? My apologies. I think I watched it, didn't I? Oh, you just put this out. Okay. Hold on a second. This fucking stuff. 34 minutes. Get out. Get out. Absolute bunk. If somebody is willing to drive down to Orchard Beach Drive at the end, I would really like to know the road at the end of Orchard Beach Drive and Cabotwood that's going through that field. I want to see the quality of that road and have pictures of it, because I think it's utter bullshit, and I think we can take that one apart just with some photos and some video. somebody wants to take a drive up there, really appreciate it. And now that the road apparently is open to everybody. Okay, so we'll finish watching this. Sorry.
Good. Might get you guys on the 104 4th exit 10, or even off the Glen Home, I guess. Great Village area stage. See what's needed on, if there's anything else needed on the scene here. Sounds good. 86, go. Go ahead. Alright, come up to Highway 2 and Portapac Beach Road. So keep coming up. You're going to meet a police officer there. They do have a GSW victim with them. We'll try to get some more information if you need any more resources there. Continue on, meet them at the intersection of the 2 and Portapac.
How do you know this is 1044? Sorry.
So more problems with the timeline RCMP have given. After receiving the first 911 call at 10:01 p.m., officers arrived on scene in Portapeak at 10:26 p.m. So it took the gunshot victim 18 minutes to drive up Portapeak Road?
Okay. Making videos real time. Are you? Oh dear. That's an interesting question. Is reading about RCMP and drones. They won't answer the questions about drones. Not that that's really related at this point in time, but they do have drones. For mass surveillance. The helicopter landed, dropped off their 2 level 4 paramedics to assist ground EMS, in my opinion. Okay, so that was west of Milford. What the fuck happened in Milford? And nothing that we're told of. Unless the warrant was true. Exit 9 near the EHS station, Highway 2. That makes sense. I think it is exit 9, but in the field. How about that? How about it is exit 9? His car's down there. He's in the bush. Drops the gun. Is there trees down there? The car's on the side of the road. They land with the helicopter. They pick him up. Is that possible? I mean, there's no reasonable explanation, or somebody help me with that, to land a helicopter. First of all, I know that burns a lot of fuel taking off. And why in the hell are you landing for no reason when there's clearly a lot of shit going down? Yeah, we'll land for a couple of minutes. Maybe they made Weber up to explain why 3 cars are there. Okay, so if that's true, who's the 3rd car? Who's on scene? If I love theories, and let's go with them. Okay, Karen, who do you think the 3 cars belong to? If there's no Weber, I'll bet you I have the name screenshot from the feed. I'm not sure who you're referring to, but maybe you can send me a DM or something about that. The pilot may have something to do with the radio. The FMs can be tricky. Or a seatbelt caught in a door. Not discounting picking someone up. I think somebody got picked up. I mean, it doesn't logically make sense. All of this is logic puzzles. Why would you land a helicopter when there's a gigantic shitstorm going down? You need people. It is the Command 4, they refer to it as. I believe that's the... And they're dropping a member off at the truck weigh station? I'm going to have to go through and piece together, because that new half-hour segmented EMS tape that's got the 18th on it too, which is awesome, is a lot clearer from what I heard, but it's got lots of blank pieces in it, so we can just cut them out and make something good there, I think. I don't see a push bar. I may have edited that not to use someone's name. Okay. Well, if you want to contact me, again, I will respect a person's anonymity fully on my end. I can't guarantee anything. I suspect the RCMP may be looking a little over here, but frankly, you're not doing anything wrong. And if they want to take somebody on, I know that's going to be a problem. The original story was GW pulled up beside Morrison, shot him, and he had bullet injuries to his arms. Morrison drove away for the medic. Okay, there we go. You're getting shot in the arms, but you're driving with those arms. That's going to be difficult or highly, highly excruciatingly painful. Could you imagine turning the wheel if you were shot in the arm? And one of those is clearly a fracture or something. It's damaged the bone. I don't think he's Superman. I've broken my ankle a couple of times and tried to drive a car while doing that. It's not easy to do. You can do it. It's not easy to do. But try getting out of the car? No, doesn't work. Why is he now lost in the woods with a gun? Oh, don't worry, Craig. I have to keep doing this. It's A is for a friend, and B, this is for much bigger. I know it. And there's too many people that need answers. Even if they don't want to talk, they know they want them. And the families most certainly do. Any of the families that have contacted me want answers badly. And I've even heard reference to other family members who do want the answers. They just don't want to say anything at this point in time. Majority of the families now are suing the RCMP. We don't have a number, but it said most. So that's over 50%. What if GW was not even at this accident? Okay, again, very good. I think that's back to Karen. If GW, I don't think GW was ever there. I said that. I don't think he was ever there, right? Because it didn't fit the time frame that they were giving. I think we're talking about Morrison. I think we're talking about Stevenson. And I think we're talking about ERT. I don't know how Weber fits in, or this silver vehicle. Unless that was an undercover vehicle. Anybody live down there know if they drive Explorers? Escapes? They must drive Escapes. Cops like those. Yeah, they do. They drive those. Could be an undercover vehicle. What if they were searching for another side? Yes, what were they searching for? And they went down there, right? We have multiple video angles now. 2 video angles showing them going down into the ditch. Now, if they're dealing with their member who is shot, they drag that person behind. What the hell are they going down there for? And then, on top of it, if it was like, oh, we're looking for somebody, well, he's not there. Why the hell are they there the next few days combing it with, like, seriously, like a brush? They're all sitting down there on their hands and knees looking for every little nook and cranny. Why is the back door open? Don't know. Where is the person who's opened the back door? Where is Weber? Or we're told Weber. Searching for Heidi's credentials. Why would her credentials be all the way down there? Hey, Tracy. Was working on it before. Well, thank you for putting it out. Anybody who doesn't subscribe to Oh Dear, I Would Subscribe. They, I think it's a she, but make a lot of good points. And I wish I'd found their channel like weeks before. Another missing handgun? Is there 2 missing handguns? No, I don't honestly say there was a drone in the area in the early hours of the 19th. They did not say 4 people on board. They only ever said 2. Yes. But is that referring to the pilot and co-pilot? Is that referring to 2 people plus the co-pilot? Milford Field could have been the closest approved landing zone to where the EMS was needed. No. Not if my understanding of Nova Scotia geography is correct. Milford is not located anywhere near Shuby. There's much better places to land, such as the road. There's nothing happening down in Milford. He was taken to Colchester in ambulance 122. I think it sounded like almost though there was 2 references to 2 ambulances. Plus, we have 1 ambulance that's staying, going, it's en route, and then they're saying, well, we're just treating him and we're about to leave. I'm going to have to listen to those carefully. Between the RCMP and Joey's car, there is a car driving down the ramp. Yes. Well, there is a car on the ramp. Yes. There's some kind of vehicle. We have at least 3 vehicles. We have the one that's in the background. There's a I have a screenshot of it. Let's see. It's a Durango, I think. Red Durango or something like that. Where is this? Oh, come on. Where's that damn folder? Oh, there we go. I must have taken that, didn't I? Oh, fuck right off. I know I had it. I think I don't know where it is right now. I think it's a red Durango. Then we have the one that's on the ramp, and we also have a red car, which is apparently being driven by a woman. I think it refers to in the warrants. EMS, who thought taught what victims were able to. Stevenson, Morrison, and Wortman. Okay. So where's Weber? There is no Weber? Stevenson, Morrison, and Wortman? So whatever happened to Weber? And why not just say that? Why would the RCMP cover that up? I mean, that's fine. Why would they say, higher up the tactical unit may have been on board. Higher up with the tactical unit may have been on board. Someone got picked up. I think someone got picked up. not fitting logic to land in the field, but somebody who maybe knows this stuff better. Maybe they know somebody who's a air vac person or something. Medevac. Only Morrison. We'll think more on that, but strange they took so long to bring him into the story. Yes. He was a latecomer. RCMP said only 3 victims survived. Yes, and I understood one was Portapic, but even that one doesn't really conclusively say that he was shot. It says that he finds a bullet in his jacket, which strangely disappears. Then you have, I think, somebody up in the Debert Wentworth area also, but that's totally, I only heard that a little bit. It wasn't on a Facebook, it was in an article somewhere, and then there was obviously Morrison. Pretty sure that was a dog bite. Yeah, that's a little too speculative for me. Yeah, Morrison and the 2 kids, right? Little Morrison wouldn't justify risking the chopper and the crew. It would have been someone seriously injured to justify that risk. Well, we know Stevenson was dead. They knew that. The whole reason for the mishmash. Too many units of authorities all working separately. But it was just the RCMP. They didn't bring in anybody else on purpose. Anyone find out who was on board who was on the EMS recordings? Somebody who isn't saying anything. Escape. Okay, so they do use escapes. Okay. The guy with the burns, only fire is the vehicle. Morrison, I believe you said. Okay, yeah, Morrison's burned. Does look like he has burns, but he also has some kind of... But both cars aren't on fire. We have a picture where they're already been in the accident and no fire. So I don't know about burns. Unless he spilled gas on himself or something. But, I mean, how is he... You can't be doing that with arm damage. Just like you can't be driving. Can't say if they're picked up or not. Only 2 on board means pilot or co-pilot. So for sure, the 2 paramedics got off. Oh. You know this kind of stuff, Todd? I have no clue about any of it. I don't know any paramedics, air vac people. Heidi's gun. Heidi's gun is because that's what they want to say killed Gina Goulet is an RCMP weapon. That's why. You guys want to see my little friend? Since you hear him wandering around. Come here. Come here. Come here. 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 Maybe he's being shy. Who's your nice shoe? Just like the Shermans, they might be looking for Stevenson's weapon in the woods. Well, how the hell is Stevenson's weapon over in the woods? Combing is a photo op. Oh, yeah, that's possible. A lot of photo ops here going on. They're not doing a lot of investigating. That's apparent. Someone got off to replace the two that got back in. Sent you a message on Twitter, gave you a bit of info. Okay. Let's see here. Tweety Twatter Twitters. Whoa. Okay. Well, I would say that you and I have something very in common. We'll just leave it at that. They have to say how many souls are on board. That's right, oh dear, for flight following. Okay, damn it, I hate this shit. I can't understand sometimes. Do they really, oh dear, because they have done everything up to code, policy, and laws? I think they use the Department of Natural Services. Somebody was saying, I think it was money, and they also used the helicopter from the RCMP. I don't think there was any private helicopters involved. I don't think they would want to involve any private helicopters. It's an up ramp, yeah, which is why I say, this business that they weren't meeting each other is balls. If you believe their story, everybody's driving north by the apparent looks of the accident. But I have to work it out more mathematically. The girlfriend, oh no. I think my head's going to explode soon. Helicopter can land in wood. Fun. Could not be used to locate a gunman before noon next day. Off to bed. Bye, Kelly. My head's going to explode here too. But it's good to have all these different things. I need them. They have an emergency run ambulance schedule in the area. Assists gauging the possibilities of timings. Could the helicopter have landed in Glenholm? Because remember, it's a big property. I think that's them. The big property thing is because they knew the pin down thing was going to come out. Then they can say, well, we just missed it. It was a big property. Ambulance would be orange out there, wouldn't? I don't know. No push bar, no warning. Yeah, no, I was happy when we came across the push bar. I don't remember what video that was. It's pretty early. To protect Morrison, maybe Weber. Maybe a Warman partner, everything went south. Oh, wow. No, I don't think I'm going to go with Weber was a cop. No. Have you solved the fucking Freemason hit? Thanks, good news. Count on good news. Don't worry, good news. I will go back to that one day. I assure you. Yeah, he's a good little boy. He's old, very old, but deafer than a doornail. I made him deaf, I think. Some educators, pension collector, name. I refused to fly the RCMP one time because it wouldn't tell me what the situation was. Interesting. Interesting. Lawful air ambulance, not privately owned. It is already said somewhere where they dragged Heidi Stevenson's body away from the fire that her badge was lost. I don't know how they'd lose the badge. It was on the road. Like, does it roll away? Puppy wants to chat. Puppy wants treats, I think. They're not investigating. That's the point. They didn't investigate anything. They just buried it. Bulldozed, backhoed, crime scene done at Heidi's in under 30 hours. No. And if they have to go back 2.5 months later for the road, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with that. CERT, I mean, even if it was CERT was then took over the investigation, which they would have done right away anyway, and they did, they wouldn't have waited 2.5 months. Something's a problem. So either they didn't investigate it well enough, or they have a lot more questions. Suddenly something went very askew. Any millionaires in the area? There's quite a few. Hell, Campbell and his wife are pretty close, I assure you. I've flown military EMS, worked for both with RCMP in the Arctic. Can families of victims not demand whoever was on the radio? The families of the victims suing the RCMP at this point in time, can demand a lot of fucking stuff. I wish I was their lawyer. It would be great. This is a he. Most certainly a he. Definitely a he. No puppies, though. His name is T. Ty is his name. It's not English. Who is the big money area? Needed Loomis. So private jets are a requirement. I can't see DNR being used for anything but hush hush. Well, it's federal department, right? Everything, they want to keep everything federal. Puppy wants to chat. Hey, right? Computer officers were caught in Toronto on a sex traffic case. They keep getting busted with all this sex stuff, eh? God, they're just raping women all over in the RCMP and kids, and it's just horrendous, this stuff. They can't keep their stuff in their pants over there. Totally agree, Henry. People can hire their own private protection in life or death. So. No, Morrison and Wortman working together. Morrison killed Stevenson. Wortman came across the scene. I think Wortman drove through there prior. If I work the time out right, I think if we're believing their shitty timeline. And in fact, if you believe the truck stop photo nonsense, truck way station, he was out of there. He would never, nothing had happened by that point. He just drove straight on through. Who got the big money? Wonder if Gabriel Wortman is even his real name. Yeah, interesting. Lacks so much transparency, which should be easy as long as I can't help with question mark logical. Bingo, that was Todd's name. Hello. We are 50% through 2020 and still fight honesty in this country. Yay! Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. We're in this predicament. We've got these kinds of clowns. Yeah, they kept moving to other channels and using the tablet. Oh, sorry. Kept using the tablet, right? Happy Canada Day. Is today Canada Day? Oh, I guess it is now, right? Happy Canada Day, everybody. Gravel road pays off families. No further investigation. They do pay off people. That's for sure. I haven't heard anything about that yet, but I know DNR love to gossip. Oh. Might you be able to acquire some gossip? Oh dear. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up. Looks like everybody's kind of shutting down. And it's Canada Day, so happy Canada Day. And thank you very much. Please feel free to check out those videos. Let me know anything more. If anybody, again, is going to keep, I know it's repetitive, but I'm going to keep appealing. Please come and talk to me. I don't want to say anything. I will respect anything that you want. You can say something to me and I won't, I can go around farming around if you point me in the right direction. Anything and everything at this point in time can help, including all these thoughts. So thanks for keeping me, and thanks for the new videos. Oh dear, really appreciate it. And yeah, you and I have something in common. So interesting, very interesting. Perhaps on that level we can communicate. So thanks very much, everybody. God bless, and happy Canada Day.